Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the King and Pocket Aces, brought to you by Rotoballer Radio, rotoballer.com. I'm one of your hosts, Anthony Aniano, and joining me as he does each and every week to talk sleeper and value plays. This week, week 9 sleeper and value plays. My colleague and good friend, Mr. Scott Engel. Scott, how are you doing today?
Doing good, Anthony. Always good to be back with you and getting ready for week 9. The feedback and the viewership on this video has been great, and we thank everybody for watching. We love answering all your questions.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. The numbers have been terrific. We appreciated people active on Twitter with both of us, Scott at Scott E. the King, myself at Aniano Fantasy, or right here on the Rotoballer page here for the show. And guys, don't forget, click and subscribe right here to the Rotoballer YouTube channel and go to rotoballer.com. Sign up for the premium pass, save an additional 10% using the promo code for King, as it says on Scott's hat, or the promo code ACES, representing myself. All right, Scott. So week 9 is upon us. 4 teams on a bye: Tampa, Detroit, Washington, Seattle. All right. We have Aaron Rodgers not playing this week as well at the quarterback position. So let's start there at the quarterback position. Who is your quarterback value sleeper play for week 9?
So Derek Carr is not quite a sleeper, but he's certainly a value. And he's been better than some have noticed this year. He's looking for his 3rd game in a row with 315 plus passing yards and 2+ touchdown passes. In fact, he has 2 touchdown passes in 6 of his 7 games this season. And even though he's lost one of his top wide receivers, he's still got weaponry there. Hunter Renfrow has been playing really well. Bryan Edwards, he's gone to him downfield in clutch situations. He will play a bigger role. Hopefully, Darren Waller plays better coming out of the bye. The Raiders have had a lot of strife, but now it's on them to respond. Derek Carr has said in the media that that this team will respond, that he will respond. The Raiders have to show that they can pull together as a team, and Derek Carr is their leader. I think from an intangible perspective and a personnel perspective, you can look for a good game from Derek Carr this week.
Yeah, Derek Carr is my Aaron Rodgers replacement. I was tempted to use Hunter Renfrow as my sleeper wide receiver, but I didn't. I went in a different direction there. So I do think Derek Carr, especially against the Giants this week, has some value.
Yeah, I heard you ask your dog who you should start a wide receiver, and he said, Renfrow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am using him. I am using Renfrow in some spots as well. I like the value there, especially in a PPR format. My quarterback sleeper value play, I'm rolling with Tua Tagovailoa this week against the Houston Texans. Week 6 and 7, he put up over 30 fantasy points. In week 8, he didn't throw as much, but he did run for a touchdown. And we know he can move the ball against that Texans defense that's allowed 19 touchdowns to quarterbacks, 15 through the air and 4 on the ground, almost 25 points per game allowed. Devontae Parker is back for Miami. He has been Tua's favorite target when he's on the field all season long. So I like Tua this week as a bye week replacement if needed at the quarterback position. Scott, let's slide over to the running back position. Who is your first running back sleeper value play of the week?
Tagovailoa last week faced a ferocious Bills defense and hardly had any time to unload the ball, and it'll be easier for him this week. And I'm going to stick with the Miami Dolphins and go with Myles Gaskin as a value play this week. You never know what you're going to get from Gaskin, but against the Texans, he'll catch passes out of the backfield. He'll run the ball adequately. He can get over 4.5 yards a carry like he did 2 weeks ago. I think you get a good and maybe possibly outstanding performance from Myles Gaskin this week. I'm all over the Dolphins. I'll be running Dolphin stacks. If you're betting this game, actually, go to rotoballer.com/betting. I'm taking the over of 46.5. I think with Tyrod Taylor back and Tua Tagovailoa improving, that this could be a higher scoring game than some expect between 2 bad teams, and Myles Gaskin will be involved.
There you go. My first running back this week is Boston Scott. Now, we said Kenneth Gainwell last week, and actually Kenneth Gainwell ended up leading the Eagles in carries and a lot of garbage time work there as the Eagles won in a landslide last week. But Boston Scott has 3 touchdowns in his last 2 games. Philadelphia has not been afraid to give him the ball near the goal line of late. And he goes against a Chargers defense that's allowing 132 rushing yards per game. including 10 total touchdowns to the running back position, 28 points per game to the running back. I still don't love the Philadelphia backfield situation. Jordan Howard suddenly involved. Gainwell is still there. But based on last week, Boston Scott is option one while Miles Sanders is out. And he faces him in a matchup with the Chargers where running backs have been able to get involved. Scott, who is your second running back sleeper of the week?
I'm going to go with Zach Moss against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Started getting involved in the passing game last week, a career high 6 catches last week. He has 50-plus scrimmage yards in 4 of his past 5, so there's a 5-point floor for you right there. But Jacksonville has given up, I believe, 11 rushing touchdowns. I think you can get 1 or 2 out of Zach Moss this week. If you're playing DFS, run a Buffalo Bills stack. A lot of people will say, oh, the game will be out of hand by the fourth quarter. Why will I do that? If the game is out of hand by the fourth quarter, that means that the Bills have put up marvelous stats to get in that position. Mm-hmm. So I'm liking a lot of Bills this week. I like Emmanuel Sanders to bounce back from a donut this week. You can use Cole Beasley, but Zach Moss, he's one of the top goal line finishers for that offense. So I like him in week 9 against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Good one there. And Zach Moss. Scott, I'm going to A.J. Dillon of the Green Bay Packers as my second running back sleeper, especially when you consider some of the running backs who are losing because of the bye week. And now without Aaron Rodgers playing for the Green Bay Packers, Green Bay may allow Jordan Love to lean a little bit more on both running backs. A.J. Dillon, had 16 carries last week for 78 yards. 2 weeks ago, it was 11:59. He's getting more and more involved in the offense. And without Aaron Rodgers, it's a perfect opportunity for Green Bay to lean on that running game, which is exceptional. Going against this Chiefs team, it slows down that offense a little bit if you're able to grind the ball and run the ball. Okay. Keep in mind as well, Kansas City allows over 6 receptions per game to the running backs. So Jordan Love may be in a position where he could check down to Jones and A.J. Dillon. So A.J. Dillon as a sleeper running back this week could provide some value.
It'll be interesting with Jordan Love at quarterback, something you don't see with Aaron Rodgers. Maybe some more RPOs to keep the defense off balance against the running backs.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Green Bay strategizes that offense this week with the change at quarterback and the fact that Devontae Adams hasn't been able to practice up until recently because of his own COVID issues. Scott, who is your first wide receiver sleeper of the week?
I guess it's a Dolphin script for me this week because I'm going to go with Jalen Waddle against the Houston Texans as a value play for tremendous upside. He has 7 catches and 70-plus receiving yards, and in 2 of his past 3 games, this is going to be a high-scoring game. Jalen Waddle, I think, is going to be the most productive Miami Dolphin. Fantasy-wise, I'm on this game with Brandon Cooks on the other side, probably maybe Tyrod Taylor as a deep value quarterback if you're looking to replace somebody. So I'm going to go with Jalen Waddle for a big week. I have him ranked just outside my top 20 in my lineup ranks on rotoballer.com at wide receiver this week.
Scott continuing to pick on that Texans defense. Scott, my wide receiver sleeper, and I don't know if even after this week we could keep calling him the sleeper, but Van Jefferson of the Rams. Arguably the best offense in football, even though he's the wide receiver 3. I don't care. I'm using him in a bunch of spots this week against Tennessee, a Tennessee defense that gives up the most points per game to opposing wide receivers, almost 48 points a game, and have allowed 12 touchdowns to wide receivers. In his last 2 games, Van Jefferson, 26 fantasy points on 13 targets. He continues to be involved. Listen, we both know it. Matt Stafford in this offense, not all offenses can maintain fantasy relevance of 3 wide receivers. Right now, this Rams offense can get Van Jefferson in your lineup, Scott.
Yeah,
Scott,
I like that. He can be boom or bust, but I think he's definitely a boom play this week. And he's the reason that Deshaun Jackson got released.
Yeah, absolutely. He out Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson is what he did in his style of play. Who is your second wide receiver value play of the week?
I talked about it with the Raiders before. Bryan Edwards. Derek Carr was going downfield with more confidence this year. In crunch situations early in the year, he was looking for Bryan Edwards. I think Bryan Edwards, I have him ranked as a top 35 wide receiver this week. I think he's going to start looking for him for more deep shots. So Brian Edwards, he's somebody you can pick up too. I think he's going to get a big player too this week, and pick him up now before he gets really on the fantasy radar. If you need a wide receiver this week, we have significant guys out this week: DK Metcalf, Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, all out this week. I think you can go with Brian Edwards. We're rolling with him in the Hall of Fantasy League with the New York Bodega Cats as our flex.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the Tampa wide receivers, the Seattle wide receivers, Terry McLaurin in Washington, Detroit maybe not so much. Those are some wide receivers that you're going to miss. And funny you say that. My second wide receiver value play is Tajay Sharp of the Atlanta Falcons, who I'm using in the Sirius XM IDP Dynasty League as a replacement for DK Metcalf while he's on the bye this week. We know Calvin Ridley taking some time off to take care of his own personal issues. Tajay Sharp, somebody's got to catch the ball for Matt Ryan besides Kyle Pitts. All right. Russell Gage has been a disappointment this year. Tajay Sharp emerges last week, 5 for 58 on 6 targets. Okay. Going against the Saints defense that gives up the 4th most points to wide receivers. There will have their own situation, the Saints missing their quarterback. Okay. I'm not saying he's going to give me 25 points, but in a week with teams on bye, if I'm looking for safety and a safer floor, I feel like right now, the way that wide receiver room is shaking out in Atlanta, Tajay Sharp can be a target favorite of Matt Ryan this week, Scott. Scott, who is your tight end sleeper of the week?
The Ravens defense ain't what it used to be. They play high-scoring games now, which is good if you have Lamar Jackson and Marquise Brown. But they're the worst team in terms of fantasy points allowed to tight end. So I'm going to go with Tyler Conklin, who caught a 60-plus yard pass this week to have another good game this week going against the Baltimore Ravens.
Yep. It's funny. Tyler Conklin was on my short list. I didn't utilize him as my sleeper, but I went with Jared Cook of the Chargers against the Philadelphia Eagles. Same reason. Another team that doesn't defend the tight end well. Over 17 fantasy points per game. On average, the Eagles allow 7 receptions and 59 yards per game to opposing tight ends. So right there, you're at almost 13 points, and they've allowed 6 touchdowns to opposing tight ends. Cook is averaging over 5 targets a game. It's going to be a nice opportunity for Cook to get you in that 12 to 15 fantasy point range. Scott, you always have a few extras. The sleepers, the value of values. Who are some other players we should be looking at for week 9?
This guy isn't a super sleeper, but I don't know if people are sold on Jeremy McNichols. Adrian Peterson not going to be ready to carry any significant load this week. He's going to get a ton of reps. Titans are going to play from behind. He will catch some passes out of the backfield. He's a good flex start. Jordan Howard, if you're going deep, we know he's just a goal line specialist, but you can get 6, maybe 12 points when he gets 1-2 touchdown runs. Then you're also looking at Marquez Callaway. He's been very, very unreliable this year.
Yeah.
But, this is a good matchup against the Falcons where he can hit a deep shot. And once again, I'm going to go back to the Miami Dolphins in this game. And I'm going to say, you want to go super deep? How about Mac Hollins?
Ooh, deep. You're just at this point, I think both of us almost are literally getting on this show every week and saying, let's pick on the Houston Texans.
Well, there's also 2 other wide receivers I'm considering go super deep if you're talking DFS. Check the health status of Donovan Peoples-Jones with Odell Beckham Jr. out of the picture. And for the Packers, it's going to be tough to tell what wide receiver that Jordan Love's going to, but Juwan Winfrey really got a lot of targets last week.
I have one question for you before we wrap up. Go back to our Raiders. Who do you want? If you had a choice between Brian Edwards and Hunter Renfrow, where are you going?
Go with Renfrow. I think he's more reliable for high percentage passes.
Yeah, I agree. A little bit of a safer floor, especially in a PPR format. All right, folks. Scott and I are out of time. Don't forget to give Scott a follow on Twitter at Scott E. the King. Myself at Aniano Fantasy. Like and subscribe right here to Rotoballer's YouTube channel and get all the great content here all week long. Waiver wires, start sits, and the sleeper video with Scott and myself. And sign up for that Rotoballer Premium Pass. Promo code KING, promo code ACES, and save yourself an additional 10%. Set those lineups. Good luck this week. Be smart. Be safe. We'll see you next time, folks. Have a good one.